In deep rainforest, a huge predator is on the move. The image of a giant reptile, virtually extinct here in Thailand, is captured by chance in a mysterious photograph. Something absolutely cannons through the vegetation. I thought I saw, like, thick yellowish tail. It triggers my hunt for more evidence of an incredibly rare animal. The Siamese crocodile.
The crocs! Get on the radio, they're definitely crocs. Look at that.
This is the start of my Thai odyssey. My search for evidence of one of the world's most endangered crocodiles. This is serious wilderness, close to Thailand's border with Burma.
Talk about getting blown away.
I'm here to solve a mystery which began when this amazing photograph surfaced on the internet. It's a wild Siamese crocodile, virtually extinct in Thailand and unrecorded for 80 years where the photo was taken. And since I got here, the story is hotting up, with news this week of a fresh crocodile sighting.
A helicopter with a wildlife photographer in actually saw 2 crocodiles on this stretch of the river only a week ago, 2 adult crocodiles. And they could only be Siamese, so that really is exciting. We could be in the right place at the right time.
My quest is a dangerous river journey to find new evidence of Siamese crocodiles. If we're successful, it could kickstart a plan to put captive crocs back into the wild and help save the species from extinction.
The pilot says that the steep slopes make it almost impossible to land here.
My only way to get to the crocodile hotspot is by boat. I'm going to have to prepare for a hazardous river journey. The mysterious photograph of the Siamese croc was taken purely by accident on a movement-sensitive camera trap, while biologists were surveying the forest for tigers. The camera was lashed to a tree in the river and triggered automatically. The croc was something they never expected to see. It's a pretty good photograph when you consider that there was no cameraman there and the croc took its own portrait by triggering the camera. Dr. Tony Lynham set the camera trap. He's a scientist with the Wildlife Conservation Society based at the Bronx Zoo in New York. What size would you estimate this fellow was?
Well, we'd thought it might be around 2 meters, perhaps a little bit more. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say somewhere between 2 and 3 meters. It's not a giant, but it's certainly not a small animal, and he's carrying himself. He's not scuttling like a small crocodilian. He's sub-adult or something like that. We have to go and see, really, don't we?
Yeah.
Tony's joining me on the river trip. This will be his first chance to fully survey the river since he got his trap snap. But before that, we've got work to do. Thailand's wild crocodiles have been virtually wiped out through commercial exploitation and hunting. But other reptiles are threatened too. We're going to raid a factory outside Bangkok where officers suspect reptiles have been illegally killed for their skins and meat. Last time this place was raided was about 2 years ago, and the forestry department found that it was stocked to the gunwale with bits of reptiles and a few live ones as well. Pythons, monitor lizards, skins, freezers full of meat, a real reptilian charnel house.
Okay.
Part of Tony's job here in Thailand is working with rangers to stop the illegal reptile trade. Officers move in on the factory, but the front gates are bolted and we're wasting time.
Bit of a problem.
More officers close in. Time for action.
I'm for going over the wall, mate.
Come on, chaps. Cool. As we approach from the front, officers encircle the building. At first sight, the cupboard is bare. Not a single reptile to be found.
Just sleeping accommodation up here. Find it hard to believe there's no cobras, no pythons, no monitor lizards, no meat, no skins. I think they knew we were coming.
There are snakes in these water containers here.
Have a look
Be
then.
careful where
It's
water
all water snakes. Big water snakes. Nice piece of kit, isn't it? I think that's for chopping their heads off. Dead snake, you see, bloated. Look at the conditions. Now have a look at that. Gallbladder's gone. That snake's been dead ages, just decomposing.
There's a lot of sacks out the back.
Are there?
Live snakes.
Live snakes in sacks. Let's go and have a
let's go
look.
out and have a look.
Let's see what else. These should go out of the sun. They should go out of the sun. Live, okay. Something live, okay. Oh, a python. A big Burmese rock python. All right, fella, you needn't worry. We're friends. This one has obviously been caught fairly recently because it's still got good body and it's still pretty bold. When these snakes have been kept for any length of time, their condition deteriorates rapidly. This isn't so pretty. Cobra. Rat snake racer. These are protected species. It doesn't really matter whether you like snakes or not. You've got to find this repulsive. This is very sad. King cobra. This is the king of snakes, and to wind up semi-frozen in a bag, destined for the skin trade, is not the way the king should wind up at all.
This girl is looking after the facilities for the owner of the property, and she says she doesn't know anything about it. And we found snakes that are cold. Clearly, they've been frozen. They've been in the refrigerator or the freezer overnight, and they've been tossed out here sometime during the morning. And so he's asking her who did it, who brought the animals out here, who brought the carcasses out here, and she says she doesn't know.
In all, we found well over 100 snakes, most of them dead.
Oh my God, there's a lot of dead snakes. Oh dear. And this is just one raid on one factory on one day in Thailand.
But at least we didn't come across one of Thailand's most endangered reptiles, the Siamese crocodile. Virtually the only place to find the Siamese croc in Thailand today is in captivity. It's a formidable predator, but its powerful jaws have failed to protect it from its greatest enemy, man. Early last century, Thailand's river systems bristled with crocs. But in the 1920s, they began to be hunted for their skins. Then businessmen began trapping them for crocodile farms. Within 50 years, nearly all wild Siamese crocs had been removed or wiped out. Today, in a country bigger than the state of California, it's thought less than 10 wild crocs survive. And it's ironic that the industry that almost killed off the crocodile is now its best chance of survival. It's the only source of crocs to restock the empty rivers.
Yeah, fellas. Oh, delicious.
But identifying pure Siamese won't be easy because of crossbreeding.
No diving off the high board, please.
These are half Siamese, half saltwater crocs.
Quite often with hybrids you get something known as hybrid vigor. They grow fast, they grow larger. And that's what the farms were trying to achieve when they crossed Siamese crocodiles with saltwater crocodiles.
The fear is that in future there could be no pure Siamese left in the farms.
They're a decent size. These are true Siamese or hybrids?
True Siamese.
True Siamese.
That's right.
They're big animals, so I didn't appreciate quite how big they get.
The man behind the restocking plan is biologist Yosapong Temsirapong, and he'll be joining me on the river trip. He's depending on crocs provided by commercial farms to achieve his goal. But he has to be sure he'll be putting pure Siamese into the wild, and not hybrids. Telling them apart by sight alone is almost impossible.
Bad boy. This is a Siamese crocodile, common in the croc farms, so rare in the wild.
Next, the hybrid. Yoz takes the young saltwater croc.
So here we've got the Siamese croc, saltwater croc, and the hybrid between the two. And the first character to tell them apart is this raised row of post-occipital scales on the neck of the Siamese, which is absent in the saltwater croc, sometimes called the naked neck croc, and present to quite a large degree in the hybrid. Now, what about colour, Yoz? What about coloration patterning?
Color on the saltwater crocodile is more broken, like spotted, where on the Siamese croc is banded like this.
Yes, yes.
You can see it.
And in the hybrid, it's a bit of both, really, and that's quite a dark animal.
So Yosapong is now using DNA sampling to distinguish the pure Siamese from the rest. But taking a DNA blood sample from an adult Siamese is dangerous work. First, we have to noose this 10-foot critter.
Made a mess of that.
This is how crocs dismember their prey, by spinning and twisting. One slip and we're in trouble.
We've got him attached with one noose over the lower jaw. Try and get the other noose over both jaws to partially close his jaws, so that when I drop onto his back, the job's at least part done. Then I've got to shut the jaws completely. And you can see what they can do. Come out of there. That's the one. It's over. Put a loop over it. Okay?
Okay, I'm gonna apply the alcohol here.
Yoz is going to take some blood from a vein that runs right at the back of the head here. And this is quite an expert job. It's not quite as obvious as looking for a vein on a human arm. Ah, you've got some coming there, little. Yeah.
Once Yosapong has identified the purebred Siamese, he'll need to find the perfect spot to release them.
Injured pride, that's all.
At last, preparations are complete and the journey begins to the heart of crocodile country. Kankajhan National Park runs along the Burmese border, and it's risky. Only last month the Thai army was clearing the forest of armed Burmese guerrilla fighters who'd crossed the border. And there's always the possibility of running into armed poachers. This expedition is a massive undertaking. 23 people equipped for 8 days in the forest. Our four-wheel drive arrives at a reservoir fed by the Petbury River. Upstream from here, it's croc country. Reports from this lake are intriguing. The abbot takes me to a place called Holy Spirit Mountain. Local people believe that the spirit who lives on the mountain uses a crocodile as his boat. And the abbot saw a crocodile here in 1997. But there's a more recent incident at a village croc farm. WCS scientist Tony Lynham and I discover the owner's been approached by a fisherman offering to sell her a wild crocodile.
He said that he would like to bring a crocodile in to sell to her, and would she accept it, would she buy it from him? And she said no.
But where was the crocodile from?
She said it's from the reservoir.
From the reservoir, attached to the river that's feeding in from the only Siamese crocodile populations that we're aware of in Thailand.
That's right.
All this goes to show that if there are wild crocodiles out there, somebody's going to try and profit from them. Clearly, they need protection.
This is just a training exercise, but they sure mean business. Here at the Khao Yai project, wildlife rangers are taught to disarm and arrest poachers. They're helped by two international organisations, Wild Aid and the Wildlife Conservation Society.
3 years ago, before we started this project, there was a ranger killed and there was a poacher killed in a firefight. We want to make sure that they are tough, they're mentally ready, they're physically ready to confront any situation in the forest. So the training you see right now is geared toward that, first and foremost.
Do you think it's working?
Yeah, we do think it's working. It's going to take a while longer, but these guys, since the project started, they've caught 350 poachers. We do know that there's fewer poachers inside the forest, spending less time, and that has to be having a positive impact on wildlife populations here. This anti-poaching program is to protect whatever's inside the park. The whole integrity of the ecosystems. You put Siamese crocodiles into a park, they've got to be protected too.
Preventing poaching could be the only hope for the few remaining wild crocs left in Thailand. Yours, Tony and I make the final adjustments for the journey. 8 boats packed with men, women and equipment. A small armada. But before we set off, some of us will make a trek upstream to recce the recent croc sighting spotted from a helicopter. With more than 1,000 kilos of equipment, we can't drag the boats upriver. We face a grueling hike. The porters will try to follow us carrying 2 deflated boats. It's an arduous trek. No trails apart from the river itself.
There's 2 things there.
Is there?
There's a rock and there's a stick behind it.
In Florida it would have been a gator, in Africa it would have been a Nile.
Here it's a rock.
Yeah, that's a rock.
Just wishful thinking, the eye of a young crocodile. If you can get around that first rocky piece,
You can get up over here.
It's a hell of a struggle. After 5 hours, we're still a mile from the croc site, and soon we'll start to lose light. To save time, we have to cut through the forest, leaving the river behind. It's easy to get lost, and our team gets separated. I decide to trek back to the river to wait. It's a dangerous turn of events.
Tony and Yaz and Kiat, we think, well, they're further upstream. We think they're heading for the croc location. Everybody got separated in the forest, and we've come back down to the river because we had agreed that our cut-off point to stop going back by boat was 3 o'clock. Still a fair journey, and you don't want to be stuck out here at night. This is a big area for tiger, leopards, a number of other predators.
Tony!
3 hours later, back at camp, they paddle into view. I'm hugely relieved when the tigers miss out on dinner. Tony, Yoz and Kiat have made it back to camp before dark. It's been an anxious wait, but their stunning news makes it all worthwhile.
We came to a point at which we decided we were going to give up. And then we decided to walk even further on, so we walked another 200 meters. And at that point, I saw trail marks, drag marks of something with, you know, a fairly sizable tail, and multiple drag marks. Oh. And we also saw tracks, foot tracks, and it looked like, you know, something large. So we had tracks of at least 2 crocodiles there.
It can be 3.
Maybe 3.
2 of them are about the same size. One big one with the rear foot track of what?
175 millimeters long. And that's the clincher, because...
Yes, I feel amazing. And that confirmed the pilot's sighting of this crocodile population. And it's great to know, and it's the big day for me and everyone in Thailand, that this population still exists.
Right.
Seems to me
The new croc site is a huge bonus, but presents us with a big dilemma. If we return to investigate, we must abandon our original plan to raft down river. But Yoz already has photos and measurements from the new site, and there are still 17 miles of unexplored terrain downstream. It's a tough call, but we stick to our plan. Tomorrow, we move on. When Tony's camera trap took that famous photo, he was collecting data on tigers for the Wildlife Conservation Society. He's also found crocodile tracks at another location, and we aim to check it out on the way.
Here's the first spot. There's drags on there.
Yeah, one here.
This is it. This is the spot. This is where we found the first set of tracks.
Tony picks out the sandbank where he found the print of a juvenile crocodile last year. We find more tracks. But of what?
That's quite a good print there.
What do you think, Mark?
I don't know. It could just as easily be monitor lizard for my money.
Me too.
And what's more, there's no slide marks into the water. I think these are monitor lizard.
Almost 100%.
When we came here last time, we saw a slide mark of the croc as it went into the water, and we were able to measure the width of the belly and also the size of the hind feet. And from that measurement, we were able to estimate the size of the animal as about 3 to 4 feet.
So if they've come up from downstream, they've done that under their own steam, presumably looking for, you know, their own habitat, their own hunting grounds, which is a positive sign.
There's no shortage of danger here. Apart from the predators, the forest has been used by guerrilla fighters who cross the border from Burma. We don't know who or what we might bump into.
Looks like a tail went under that log. I'm going to go and check that log. I knew I saw something. I knew I saw something. And sure as eggs is eggs. I went round the back and he came round the front. Reticulated python. Oh, this is a strong fella. I'll have to have you help me undo him. Oh, and he's badly scarred. Look at that. He's had some...
Come out too.
Yep. Take care, it'll dislocate my arm again. Right, you take that in. Look at that. He's been in combat with something. Look at the bites on him. Yep, that could be crocodile, it could be big cat.
It's not a serrated, so it might not be a crocodile.
Could be claws, you see. We think probably with a leopard it's got scratch marks, claw marks all down the back. It's really badly ripped. By virtue of the fact that they're non-venomous, they have to subdue their prey through brute force. Reticulated pythons have been recorded eating leopards, and I'm sure the leopard didn't go quietly. Back under, he'll go under the tree. Okay.
He's going to survive.
I think he will. The wounds are clean. It looked pretty horrible. But, well, that's nature.
Look to the left up here, Mark. It looks like fresh elephant sign.
Well, they've broken the bank down as they've gone into the water.
Yeah, looks like tracks arrow here. Yep. This is a fast one. This is a fast one. Get your feet in.
Yeah, like this.
Boom down.
Big rock, big rock, big rock. Don't send me with you.
We have to keep to the left here, mate.
Left, keep left.
The elephant tracks are a warning. We discover we are not alone. The sound of bamboo being crushed like matchsticks. We're being tracked along the riverbank by a herd of elephants. It could be highly dangerous. Even the Thai boatmen are worried.
Okay, we're going to stop here and then walk up. There's a campsite over there.
We've got a bit of a quandary because there's not much camping space here. We don't want to go near the Croc Beach. And the best camping spot up there is, at this moment, covered in elephants, which means taken. So we're going to try and camp in here. We're hoping the noise of this rapids will kill the sound of making camp and basically living here for a fairly large party.
We've just reached the hottest croc spot in Thailand, and our neighbours, the elephants, are trashing the jungle. At least the elephants are vegetarian. Other visitors might not be.
Tigers, leopards, bears. So let's hope there's crocodiles here as well, eh?
All the months of planning have brought us to this anonymous sandbar where one of the world's rarest crocodiles was photographed entirely by chance.
We don't know if there's anything there. We've got to move very quietly and keep low because wild crocodiles are extremely easily spooked.
That's the sandbank. That's where we got the crocodile photograph. And there were tracks on this side of the river as well.
What's the best way?
Go around that way. Check it. Go around that way.
That piece of timber, Tony, that's that piece there.
That's right. You can
So
see
it's that way round. And this anhinga, this vegetation here, it's the stuff we're sat in pretty much up here.
Yeah, we're sitting right there.
We're there. We're there now. And so you've had the camera on that
on that big old tree stump there.
So what he's actually done, he's come off that sandbank and stormed his way past the camera on there.
Right.
Because, you know, it's having seen this picture on the internet and seen it in, you know, in publications, to actually sit here and sit there on the photograph.
Here we are.
Is a little surreal, I think. You almost expect to see my head pop up in a minute.
Well, last year, when we came to pick up the camera trap, I took this cast of a track of what we think is the crocodile that actually took the picture. We're standing in the spot where we actually got this cast. And this is a rear foot of the crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
And by the measurements, it's about 4.5 inches wide and about 7 inches long. And you can see the 3 toes are very, very clear.
Very nice one.
Yeah.
Elephant's gone on across here. It's like looking at dinosaur footprints, isn't it? You can see them in
They're
there.
huge, unmistakable.
Yeah.
Now look at this. It looks like the left hand of the crocodile. Start from here, and that's the small finger. That's the ring finger, middle finger, index and thumb.
Awfully faint, though. Do you think it's down to
It's very
the
faint.
rain? I mean, there was rain yesterday afternoon and evening. Quite heavy at times.
So this is surely a crocodile track.
You're positive that's a crocodile track.
And I am excited to set a trap here.
Yoz is convinced he's found a crocodile track. He needs a DNA sample, and the only way to get it is to set a trap. It wants to be on the bottom, doesn't it? It's then going to go in as opposed to going underneath. So what happens, Yoz?
Yeah, when the crocodile comes from the trap door, go after this chicken and hit it. Trick a wire here.
Drop. Bingo! I can't see it. Going up, coming down where? Oh, yeah. Good. Go through the other side. Yes, keelback. Right. We just grab that bugger. Got him. It's a keelback, but unfortunately in Asia there are 1 or 2 keelbacks that have caused some serious bites. So you need to be mighty careful with them. Oh, I'm pleased. Now I'm looking at this one, and this I do not believe is one of the dangerous species. I think I know which one this is, but I'm quite satisfied that this is one of the harmless ones. But he was moving fast. It's a black ring keelback. No serious bites recorded. We're very lucky to get not just a second but a third bite of the cherry. The first one actually fell down the slope into the dining area, right onto where the cook's preparing dinner. So, talk about dropping in for lunch. Well, I told you about the tigers. I forgot to tell you about the ticks. Doc?
It embed its head into your skin.
I see, he's gone right in, I think. He's getting a good feed there. You got him. Oh yeah, he's a decent size, isn't he?
Yeah, yes, its head.
I think I've got another one under my arm actually, because there's something biting me at the moment.
In here is the infrared sensor.
In the bottom section.
Yeah, that's...
We're looking for more evidence of crocs, and Tony thinks the way to get it is to set up another camera trap.
Originally we came down here with a group of foresters to set camera traps for tigers. That's what we were interested in recording. It was a tiger survey. And by chance we landed on this sandbank here and we found tracks of what we thought was... it must have been a crocodile, it was so big.
Yeah.
And so we set a camera trap and lo and behold we got the photograph that you saw.
But the thing was, it was a 36 frame film and you got the photograph on the 37th frame.
I couldn't believe it because I had this roll of film and we'd printed the photographs and I flipped through from the first frame and I saw otter after otter after otter, and then a monitor lizard, and then finally the Siamese crocodile. It was a really great feeling.
You might think that finding a big animal like a croc on a narrow river would be easy. You'd be wrong.
The whole essence of a crocodile, its natural history, is stealth, whether hunting or hiding. They don't submerge forwards. That creates a wake. If you watch a crocodile when it goes under, it drops backwards before going forwards. They barely create a ripple. And you could even have a large croc cruising along just under the surface and never even see it.
So we're gonna communicate by radio?
Yep. If we get any eye shine of crocs or anything interesting, we let each other know and we'll work out how to go about it.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm looking for a pair of ruby red eyes that glow in the torchlight, the signature of a crocodile. Torching is often the only way to pinpoint crocs when they're wary.
90% of eye shine is spiders and 0.1% might be crocodiles. Wait. Red eyes. Oh my God, look at that frog. He's ducked down, he's aware I'm here. Oh, Gordon Bennett. Big bullfrog. And there are quite a few species of these. I have a feeling it's what's called Blythe giant river frog. Look at him, that is a monster. Careful. Excellent. That is a monster frog. I'll totally get and go back for him. The red eye. Unless crocodiles jump into the air, that was a frog. The eyes are not bright enough, they're not ruby red enough for a croc yet. Oh, bloody hell! They're crocs! Get on the radio, they're definitely crocs. I'm sure they're crocs. No, they fly by. No, they're... Shh. No, they can't be. Red eyes, swimming here. Get on the, give me the radio. There. Shh. Hell on earth. That croc. Is it? No, it's a... No, it's not. It's an otter. It's a pair of otters. I've gone up the bank. That had my heart in my mouth. They were just cruising on the surface. You wouldn't have got that with a frog. For a moment I thought, I can't believe it. A pair of crocs. What, two? You spent all this time and then two come together. That was excellent. Not quite a croc, but nicely done. Come on, little chap. How about that then? Baby Ritik. Not too friendly. Oh yes, you make your match, my little friend. These series of light diamonds down the back, and on either side, the white flecks that I was checking for when I was looking up at him. I just wanted to make sure he got those. Then I'd know that he was actually Baby Ritik I was dropping into my arms, because had he been an adult pit viper, that would have been a little bit more serious.
Yotapong surveys the river for fish, the crocodile's staple prey. If farm-bred Siamese are to be put into the wild here, yours needs to be sure the location will have enough fish to support them. There seems to be plenty of fish. And next morning, a dramatic development at the crocodile trap.
Trap door's triggered. You can't see anything
Might
there.
be some tracks there.
Something's triggered it.
Ah, that trigger.
There's nothing in there unless it's in the water. Hey, you've got a monitor lizard, I think.
Whoa, yeah!
You have? We've got a monitor? Look at that, it's a good sized animal, well marked.
Oh, he's beautiful.
It's a nice monitor lizard. I'm going to have to grab him, so if you get him down that end,
Sure.
and take him out of that end easy.
Wait. Can we take this off?
If you lift gradually, I will grab him.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
he's pretty,
Perfect.
isn't he? Very nice.
It's a good predator. It hunts in its own right, but it loves carrion. It'll come for the smell of that chicken, got himself trapped. But interestingly, he's a major threat to Siamese crocodiles. Because this is the #1 egg thief. It will find crocodile nests, dig out the eggs, scoff as many as it can, and largely waste the rest. It's just like a child in a chocolate factory. It'll try a bit of every one. They actually are called monitor lizards because in the old days there used to be a monitor for where crocodiles were. That's the
Is that
story
where
I've
the name
heard,
comes
yeah.
from?
Yeah.
That's the index.
And the reason why female crocodiles are such good mothers and stay around their nests is because of these. They try to keep them at bay. And this isn't a fully grown individual. It's a good size, but it's not a fully grown one. These go 5, 6, 7 foot.
Things coming out.
There you go, male hemipenes. You don't get that on any other show.
Yeah, so the trap work.
Sure does. As a crocodile comes round here and takes that chicken, you're going to get him. We haven't found a crocodile, and the tracks are old. We prepare to move on.
Well, I'm positive that there are crocodiles in the river. The question is, where are they right now? And I think we're in the right place for doing what we're doing in terms of trapping. But there's a possibility that the crocs are upstream or possibly downstream.
Yeah, you're optimistic.
Tony, right.
Yeah.
So we know the crocodile is in this river, but we don't know where they are. So I don't think we're gonna get a crocodile.
Right. I have to agree, actually.
I want to find some fresh tracks.
Yeah, I know. You need fresh tracks, but we haven't had any signs for an awful long way.
Well, that's the reality of working with an endangered species.
Yeah.
One
And
that's
this is
virtually
the-
extinct.
Next day we push on downstream. There's still 12 miles of pristine river to survey, and who knows what we might encounter. Then a fantastic find.
Tortoise! Now that's a rarity. This is a rarity. This really is a fantastic looking tortoise. And look, he has been grazing. You can see he's got leaves in his mouth. He was actually grazing just up here. This succulent riverside vegetation is obviously very much to his liking. No, I think you could get bored of it. They're such slow-moving animals. These tortoises have to be built like tanks for protection. But probably their biggest enemy is man.
The fact this giant ocean tortoise is still around is good news for crocodiles. It means this river is free from man's interference.
This fellow must be of considerable age. And that just shows what a pristine environment this is. If this fellow was living anywhere near a village, he'd have been collected by now. Head down. Stay down. That one wasn't playing, was it? Oh, thank you.
Got a companion.
Yes, now which one is it?
Oh, we have passenger.
We have a passenger. Ah. He's in shock, look.
I would be too.
Yes. This toad never even woke up when it fell out of the tree into the boat as we went underneath. Look, he's still asleep.
Round the next bend, we hit on the perfect croc spot. And right on cue, a big animal.
Something absolutely cannoned through the vegetation and went in just here. And it went in, not like a monitor lizard, like a croc. It had got real weight in it. I thought I saw like thick yellowish tail, but I mean...
He went in from the bank, didn't it?
Yeah, and he went in there. Now he could have, I mean, this is deep water. The bit I saw, which I believe was tail, was fat. It was thick, far too thick for a monitor lizard. Wasn't otter. Otters don't enter the water like that.
No way.
They're incredibly graceful creatures. Yeah. That was something that freaked, was aware of our presence and at last moment threw itself in. And crocs do that. I've seen it so many times. There's a cave right under this rock.
I'll try to access from the other side. I'll let the water clear first.
It's a hole under the rock.
Not very deep.
For my money, this is absolutely perfect for a croc.
And the more I think about it, I'm trying not to convince myself, but it's hard not to. That's just out of the fact that I can't think of anything else it could be.
Not very deep.
And this is
Perfect spot.
one of the best spots we've seen.
Yeah.
Well, for me, that's about as close I think we've got to a physical croc.
This could be another potential site for yours to survey. Although I can't confirm what I saw, that for me was the closest I've come to an encounter with a wild Siamese crocodile. It's been 8 arduous days on the river, but we all feel elated with the results. We've confirmed not one but 2 locations used by one of the world's rarest crocodiles. Yozapong is close to identifying purebred Siamese crocs in the commercial farms. One day he hopes they will finally go back where they belong, to the wild.
Oi. Bad boy. Well, I caught him in mid-flight. Can't see anything there. Oh,
I didn't see that either.
Oh, straight down